Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. New England gets more at 24.
What's up, everybody?
Not a big.
You've
been 5 consecutive. What's up?
I know. And everyone got a little bit louder.
The Sam Cassell one was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, and then we got this one.
Yeah.
Celtics fall in Milwaukee after a little bit of a break. 5-game winning streak is snapped. 15-point loss as Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis and Kevin Porter Jr. goes for a triple-double. Not the way I thought it was going to play out up there in Milwaukee. Although we did, right before we go on, I kind of like to get a vibe check with Kayla, and I'm like, Kayla, are we feeling good about tonight's game? And we both were just a little bit hesitant tonight because no Giannis. And it's just like one of those weird games where I don't even want to call it a trap game because Celtics knew this was going to be tough after all that time off.
Can we call it a trend game?
Ooh,
I'm not excited to call it a trend game because I don't want to manifest that this is a trend. But you get my
a change in trends that we were not expecting, and like good first half, but then they kind of just went off the rails. And
Chris, we literally both looked at each other going into the game like, how do you feel? So Chris, just to preface this, Chris and I will get mic'd up. We'll go in, I go through the rundown, he does his thing, and then we go into the studio.
Hold on. You want to tell the truth? So at like 3 minutes to go on the clock.
Yeah, I was trying to make it sound good. So,
Kayla goes to the green room. I'm like, where is she going? And one last hair check.
You gotta get the makeup,
fit
little touch up. Sometimes you got a little selfie fit.
Producers are like, you seen Kayla? And I'm like,
is that what happens?
No, never.
No. You can be real.
No. Like occasionally.
There's definitely
So we let's say it's a 6 o'clock pregame. At 59 on the clock, there is some. Is she in the building?
Because you're not hearing.
I was like, no, she did quick slams earlier. She's definitely here. I think.
Yeah, I could go off into an adventure. You'd be surprised what you can pull off.
The danger is always, once you step into the green room, there's, and you start talking to someone. Like Eddie was once, and I'll
never forget that.
He missed he missed the entire A block. And then he walked in, he's like, what's going on?
You know what it was? I remember this. Eddie was, and I'm sorry, we're getting way off.
No, I know, but
Eddie was talking to
Brian Hoyer
about the Raiders.
Yeah.
I remember he was talking about I don't know why he was talking about the Raiders.
I also remember because it was just the most hilarious thing. Like we all do it.
And then Brian Hoyer was going into his son, talking about his son, and then we're like, "Hey, welcome to Celtics pregame live." Chris Forsberg, Eddie.
Eddie
and then Eddie, you hear Eddie in the background be like, "I'll catch you later, dog." Oh, it was so good. But so Chris and I do a vibe check.
Right.
So we looked at each other, and I said, "Chris,
we got this right."
I said, but we looked at each other like, I don't know if we got this.
I was looking for you to confidently be like, yeah, the Celtics got this. And you were
gave a high pitch. So anytime I get a little, I'm going to just expose myself since we're already here. I go high pitch when I am not confident. Yeah. So I'll be like, like, it's more like, hey, you got this? Yeah. Like the voice gets a little higher.
Yeah, I definitely
So that was that. And the only reason why I think it was high and where we were at, because we've seen the Celtics take their foot off the gas against these teams that they should on paper be. When Giannis 100%. Isn't playing, the Brooklyn Nets NBA Cup game, like Utah Jazz, right?
Not finishing that game. Utah, Brooklyn. It's just Michael Hawley made a great point on our postgame show. It's you do enough of these, and you look back at the end of the year, and you're like, wait, we kicked away 5, 10 wins, and it can be a little bit frustrating. I will give them the slight benefit of the doubt. I actually found myself on the way in today. I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, 10 of 12, 5 in a row, like crazy numbers, like some really feel-good wins, beating good opponents. I needed to remind myself they're not going to go, 62-0 to finish the year, right?
That's true.
There's going to be bumps in the road. I think what's frustrating is a night like this where it's a little bit of the process, where the first half was actually pretty good. Jordan Walsh is giving you great energy, doing crazy things, having another game where I'm like, we're just going to be talking about Jordan Walsh again all night.
I was looking up more nicknames.
And then the second half happened. And woof. So let's just get into it. Do you have a headline?
Before I get to my headline, because I'm still like, it's brewing. Can I ask you a question?
I can give you my headline.
Oh, you want to go?
Yeah. I was going to say Celtics, your second half, woof.
Is that the headline?
So that's my headline. So because I was watching
Celtics, your second half.
For like the 37th viewing of the holiday season, we were watching Home Alone, and
Great.
you know
Top
when Kevin finds he's climbing through his brother's room, and he goes, "Buzz, your girlfriend." Woof.
No. He goes, woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
And that was the Celtics second half in a nutshell. Kuzma was barking at Jaylen in the first half. Then you had Bobby Portis right up in Jalen's mug in the second half. Somehow Jaylen pushed Bobby Portis and got technical free throws, which is kind of funny. But you know what? That's what Milwaukee does. Whether Giannis is there or not, they get under your skin and they make you uncomfortable. And I just thought the other way around. Like the Celtics never made them uncomfortable. And part of it is a familiar story where Celtics miss a whole bunch of shots, including 14 3-pointers in a row. Was that the number? 16?
I think it was 16.
16.
It was 16.
I think they were 0 for 14 in the third quarter and then missed a couple of starts. Sam Hauser had this one stretch at the start of the fourth quarter where he missed 2 3-pointers, then had just like and I say this as someone who would smoke this layup 1,000 times out of 1,000, missed an easy layup, then missed the tip in. And I really thought he was just going to be like, you know what? That's enough for me tonight. See y'all later, and just leave the building because it was that painful. And I feel bad because it's his hometown. He's randomly got a black eye that no one has explained.
Thank you.
Am I the only one who knows?
Thank you. Where did that black eye come from?
I assume it's a child incident.
Did someone draw it because it was like such a bad night that he's like, let me look.
No.
No.
He had it
we do love Sam Hauser.
He had it last game, and I just assume, like, you know, as someone who has dealt with small children, sometimes you're like, you know, when you have a toddler or a baby or
you're
whatever.
Like, did I do that?
No, they just like limbs flail at random times, and you sometimes get kicked in the wrong spot. Because I don't remember him getting hit in a game.
Same.
But regardless,
we'll investigate.
You know, this just was not Sam Hauser's night. Maybe it's not Sam Hauser's week. It might not even be his year. But at that point I was like, you know what? It's just not happening for the Celtics tonight. And that was a painful second half to watch. They did not get shots to fall. They did not play defense. That was for a team that was putting up video game offensive numbers. That second half, woof.
I like that. I don't like.
I don't like that, but you like the headline.
I like the analogy to Home Alone because Home Alone is the top movie of Christmas season.
And we just sat there all night looking at the Bucks going, Kevin! Porter Jr.
Exactly.
Who had a triple-double.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you, not fear more, that's dramatic. Like, what are you more pleased with or what calms you? Is it when the Celtics show up against great teams, like the Cavaliers, the Pistons, the Knicks, beating the Cavs twice, like even Toronto, or take their foot off the gas against bad teams? Like, what would you rather? Because this is the scenario for me.
It's so tough, right? Like, you're not. So the argument would be you're not going to play bad teams in the playoffs, so whatever, right? Like, you'd rather they show up when it matters. And yet, it's crazy, though, that they have the most wins against teams over 500, and yet they can't get out of their own way against the teams that are under 500. I think I would, in general, I think the better teams just steamroll the bad teams, and they bolster their record with that. Like,
Correct,
if you looked Oklahoma City's beating everyone, so that's a terrible example. But, like, I bet if you looked at Denver is probably destroying, and I hope I'm not getting this wrong, they're just probably destroying, like, all the inferior competition, and then they're just tripping up against better teams. And so there'll be consternation. Someone will be like, oh, you know, they should be beating the better teams. Why are they not better against 500 teams? And yet, if you take care of your business against those teams, you're allowed some slip-ups, and you just got to figure out how to be peaking in the playoffs. So I'm still, like, nothing. Losses like this don't change my trajectory of where I think the Celtics season could go. They're just more annoying.
I agree. That's a great way to put it. Because the thing
and now
is,
I'm going to look
like,
at what Denver's record is against 500 teams.
While you do that, I'll go on my rant.
Yeah, thank you.
The thing is like the Celtics, they've been great. Like, they have been really, really solid. And so, sure, they take a loss to Milwaukee, who doesn't have Giannis. They, like, even in the Milwaukee locker room, from what we've heard on the outside looking in, it seems confusing. There seems to be lies going on of whether Giannis wants to be traded or stay. Doc Rivers is like, there's just a lot going on. So you would think that tonight would be the opportunity where the Celtics take advantage, saying, hey, these guys don't even know what their team is, who's staying, who's
There's
going.
too much turmoil. Like
Right.
they should be like
So
they shouldn't be more focused than you.
So the message should be, and I believe it was, handle business in Milwaukee. Let's get back. Let's focus on the next. But sometimes when you almost skip over the quote unquote easier teams like the Brooklyn Nets, like the Utah Jazz, like Milwaukee here tonight, where the teams that have the bad record, you don't handle business. And it's not. Sure, they're gonna. Peyton even said this the other day. We were there at the practice,
yeah.
and he goes, "We're gonna play small. Like that's what we are because Neemias Queta is our only like big man other than Chris Boucher, and like that's what we have to live with." But if you do that, and Scal pointed this out in postgame, the pace has to be so much faster. You can't be walking up the ball. And I'm not here to dog the Celtics because they, God forbid,
No,
lost
Kayla,
20.
because like when you call people out, like that's why you came in for plus, and
am I
you're
gonna
like,
say
"Hey,
sorry
I
the
got
next
something.
game?
I got to get something off my mind." I'm going, "Yes."
But you know what? When I get it off my mind, they
Then the next
rally,
game-
and then I apologize. So I'm doing it for the greater good. So I'm going to go on my
Just
rant.
looking
the
out for the
pace
Celtics.
has to be better. There's no excuse, right? There is
Love it.
no excuse why the pace should. They're bottom of the NBA in terms of pace, right?
Right, but like don't get too caught up on pace. So pace is a
Simmer
weird
me
number
down.
where it's essentially it takes into account both sides of the floor. So if the Celtics are making an opponent work the full clock, then possessions will come down across the board. The Celtics timed a shot at the start of the year, like how long it takes them to get their first shot up, is more indicative. It's quicker than it was last year, where they limped and would take a lot of late clock stuff. So it's been better. I do think they're playing faster. They're definitely playing different. You know, like it's undeniable that Jordan Walsh picking up full court isn't impacting pace numbers.
fair.
But so yeah, I get a little leery when we default to just the straight pace number. But you're absolutely right. You look at a game like tonight, and if you want to just say
Just change it
in
up
a
little bit.
vacuum, like this was not. They did not play fast enough. Especially when shots aren't going in. What are you doing? Their transition numbers in this game were some of the worst of the season.
So points in the paint is, I feel like, it's also a tough barometer because they're just smaller, right? So you're gonna expect a more front court heavy team,
But getting
opponent.
doubled up is tough.
But Chris, what's your take on if they don't get the points if they're not outscoring their opponents in points of the paint and they're also not shooting the three ball?
Yeah,
what
like
do you
so.
do?
What are you winning? Like,
Right.
Otherwise, you have to outscore them by like a ridiculous amount from the mid range, and it's just not going to happen.
I'll tell you this: I want Jordan Walsh to drive more
Well, my gosh,
because he's good at it.
Good things happen. Like his activity on the offensive glass. Like if we're going to take a positive from this, it's yet again. And I probably would have come in here and done a Jordan Walsh headline, except I've done it 94 times in a row now.
Which is a good thing.
But I mean, 18 points in the first half. Could not miss. Had the 3-point shot working. It's so encouraging how much progress he has made. And I will never take it for granted in the same way that like we shouldn't take for granted another 30-point night for Jaylen Brown.
Right.
And yet, like Jalen's turnovers were not great. Jordan Walsh had a quiet second half. So like there's a level of consistency that comes with everything. And the Celtics have been so much better at that over the course of the last 12 games. This felt like a little bit of an outlier, and it's a weird week, so I'm not going to get too worked up about it. But, I say that, and then I'll probably get worked up about it if it happens again.
Who's the one guy that we haven't mentioned that we should mention every game?
Jaylen?
No. Jordan, we talked about.
Oh, yeah?
Derek White.
Ooh.
Not
a great night?
Right. And I'm not here to look,
Sounds
it's
like every time you preface it with I'm not here to crush somebody.
Because
then Kayla's going for the jugular.
Because now Jordan, look, Derek White is he is fan. I am going to back myself up because I think Derek White is elite, and this is why I get so high and low because I'm like, Derek, even if you have a rough night, fine. But we should be talking about. We talk about Jaylen every single night,
yep.
Whether good or bad. We're going to talk about the star. Derek White needs to belong in that caliber, and I feel like sometimes the quiet games he's mediocre, blending in Jordan Walsh right now is becoming not the new Derek White. I'm not going to be that dramatic, but he's becoming his own Jordan Walsh figure, right?
100%.
So you want Jordan Walsh to complement the two stars. I just need the second star in Derek White to level up, and so. I'm not going to go as far as saying, "Oh, he's back down." No, I'm not. This was just one of those nights where it's a long season. It's the NBA, 82 regular season games. The Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis, fine. But you just need guys.
Just to add some context to your not the pace not being good enough. So the cleaning the glass essentially. they'll break down like what percentage of plays were transition or live ball or half court. Celtics had 20.2% of their plays were in transition. So that means like, how are you scoring when you are manufacturing shots off transition basketball? They were minus 7.3 points per 100 possession, which is the worst number in the NBA this season. It means they literally they could not have been worse. Yeah. Literally could not have been worse. Or no one else has been as bad as them at generating points in transition as the Celtics were tonight.
So I don't want to. I hate the finger pointing. Who do you blame? Who do you blame? Like you can blame everybody. You can blame the coaching staff. You can blame the players out there. My question is, Chris, when you look at that and you kind of recap the game tonight. If you're the Celtics, how do you adjust? Like, what needs to change? Because this is not going to be the last time we see this. This might be
like the ultimate bury the ball kind of game, right? Like, just you can't. I wouldn't sit there and obsess about it. Like, the first half was decent. The second half was just abysmal. Like, if you're not making shots, you do have to have something you can kind of fall back on. I thought they did a decent job getting into the paint at times. Like, Peyton got there. It just felt like they're big. Like, Portis is there when there's size that disrupts, and so it bothered them tonight. And usually they're better about swinging it, but guys got to knock down shots. If guys aren't knocking down shots, ultimately it all kind of falls apart. And so I just think the offensive process has to be better, and you can't let it bleed into the defensive end, which is something we've talked about a million times. And so overall, as long as it doesn't turn into habits, I'm fine with it. But yeah, a little frustrating
do you know how many times Jaylen got to the line?
Wasn't a lot. I don't remember the Celtics shooting a lot of free throws.
So that's my thing. So if this is my thing. I
probably should have brought a box score in.
I know. Here I am. I know. We get off the post game and we come in here and we're like, hey, let's chat it up because this is our venting session. This is where we're one with the people. We're one with you guys who just want to air it out, right? Them not getting to the line enough. That's what it is for me.
Well, actually, they got to the line more than Milwaukee did. 21.8% versus 13.9. I don't have the full free throw numbers in front of me because I
care about the stars getting to the line. When Jaylen drives and when Jordan Walsh, Jordan Walsh is starting to build that consistent confidence, and so in the second half, Jordan. I'm going to apologize again in the future.
There we go.
Because he had 20 points tonight, 18 of which came in the first half. Only two came in the second half. Now, because you're playing to the elite caliber, more than two has to happen in that second half.
Jaylen had 9 free throw attempts. That seems like more than I would have thought based on watching the game. 25 attempts overall for the Celtics.
But if you're not hitting the three, that great, especially in the second half. If you're outside,
they didn't miss 6 free throws, so 76% of the line. That's not good. 11 of 14 for
he's been pretty solid from the free throw line. Yeah. I mean, in the middle of the pack. If you are missing your threes in the second half, if you are outsized in the paint, how else do you score? And if the mid-range game isn't falling, you have to get to the line. You have to get to the line.
Mauling.
I will say this. I talk a big game sitting in this chair. I'm not out there. I am not in the NBA. No. It sounds better, on the outside looking in.
It is admittedly easier for us to sit here and say that. But I'm sure it's something Joe will stress. And they're not a great get-to-the-line team. Jaylen does, but there's not a lot of other driver guys that draw a lot of fouls. So I think one of the things we've learned over the course of how well they played is that the Celtics have to win the shot margin. I don't think they did. If they did tonight, it probably based on offensive rebounds, I'm guessing they did not. But even if it was marginally close. They certainly didn't do enough to negate the other things, particularly the pain points. So ultimately, got to be better. Having a vehicle you can rely on, that's important. That's why you can rely on 24 Auto Group. They will treat you like family. And that's because they are family owned and operated. They're honest, easy to work with, and they just get it. Whether you're looking for something sporty, something luxurious, or just a solid everyday ride, 24 Auto Group always comes through. With 9 brands and 11 locations across New England, there's something for everyone. And here's the best part. They've got the knack to save you more on a new or pre-owned vehicle, and the knack to pay you more for your trade, up to $2,400 over book value. You can even drive home with just $24 down. So if you want the best deal without the runaround, go see my guys at 24 Auto Group, because you always get more at 24. Online at 24autogroup.com. Let's spin it forward.
Yes.
Now I got another 3 days off.
I know.
I don't like to lament the days off. It's been good to, I felt like we came off that 6-9 stretch. It was nice to kind of like downshift, take inventory.
Yeah.
Also helps when you win 5 in a row going into that break. And now it's like you got to fester on this one a little bit. But the Pistons are up next Monday. So the Celtics are scheduled to take Friday, Saturday off, get back on the practice court on Sunday. That's good for them. Like that's four out of the last 6. They'll have like really been able to downshift the 4 out of 7. And, that's good to rest up bodies and get guys healthy. Although, randomly, we when we left practice the other day, I think we both looked and we're like, oh, Amari Williams and Ron Harper Jr. are here. That's weird. I think the main Celtics have a game today.
I know.
And then it turns out, like, Amari's got a hand fracture and Ron Harper had, like, a knee injury. So they got to stay healthy on the off days.
True.
But, yeah, ultimately it comes down to what do you want to see change against the Pistons and what do they have to do against that team?
I think they do level up. Here's the confidence I have in the Celtics. They level up to these top teams. Like they just do. I think their mindset is different. I think the energy is different. I wasn't at Milwaukee. I was not in Wisconsin. And based off of what Drew and Scal were saying, it was not like the rah-rah of a type of arena.
That team it typically is when Giannis is around and they're competitive.
Right.
But I would say like probably this is a late addition to the schedule.
And their record isn't that great, so we get it.
There's probably like a Packers pregame show on somewhere. I don't know.
Right. So, needless to say, I'm not concerned about the Celtics actually playing. That I feel like that's the comforting thing, right? I'm not worried about the Celtics playing these great teams.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's more exciting. They beat the Cavs twice. One by 20, the next down to the wire, but they still beat them. They beat the Knicks. They beat Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a revenge game, and they're coming off of a loss, which should even give them more, kind of an amplified energy.
I don't know if they're going to need any more motivation.
Right. But in terms of like logistics, I think their 3-point shooting has to be better in the second half. Shot selection, just understanding when to drive it. I want to see them get to the line. I feel like when Jalen's more aggressive getting to the line, even when Derek White or Peyton Pritchard does a great job. Peyton always does a great job. And if you just study, if you were to like kind of go ghost on every other player and just focus in, do a huddle on Peyton Pritchard, he's always getting to the paint because he's trying to create. So if they can blend all of that together and be a little bit more in attack mode, that's what I would like to see against the Pistons.
Same, and I just think they'll be up for it because it's a big game, so they always seem to bring it, and they'll know that Detroit is motivated, and they'll be smarting from this loss, and they got to be ready. And so, Jordan Walsh, bring your best effort against Cade Cunningham, and Nimi Keita, you better be ready to go up against that front court. Celtics have got to be better than what we saw tonight. You never gave a headline, so I'm gonna come up with yours right now.
Can I do
Kayla, when is Jayson Tatum going to be back on the basketball court?
Oh, what? That's not a headline. That's breaking news. That's like Monday morning paper.
We're not breaking news, but what I want to do is I want to end on a positive note. And so one of the things
here's the headline
that has happened.
You heard it here first. You ready? Jayson Tatum returns. Okay, I got to rework this headline. I'm doing way too much. Jayson Tatum returns soon after All-Star break.
Okay, that's
fair.
Which,
by the way, I'm going to find the clip months ago, and this is where I will like boost myself a little bit here and stroke my ego.
Yeah. Early edition,
I did say in early edition that he was going to return
100%.
Post-off before he was doing the one-on-one before because this dude doesn't rest. He never rested last year. Post All-Star break, he's back. You heard it first. And soon after All-Star break, he is back.
I'm gonna make sure they put the timestamp in here so that everyone, we can be
11:47:36.
Like just fast forward. If you don't want to hear about the Milwaukee game, hopefully you're able to fast forward to this. We'll end on the positive note. Like Tatum it's not the first time we've seen Tatum when we were over there for practice the other day, but obviously the workload is going up. More intriguing than maybe what we see as he's just kind of going through post-practice shooting is the fact that like he was playing one-on-one in some of these clips. On his trainer Nick Sang's birthday, he had one of the images said soon, and how soon is now? Like it's
sure.
like it's fair to wonder what does that mean? Like,
can I throw you a question that I don't think anyone has thrown yet?
Go ahead.
When is he playing 5-on-5? We saw him 1-on-1 because 5-on-5 is gonna in
practice. It's a different beast. It's funny. It usually accelerates. Like when I think about, and every injury is different, right? But like when guys get to 1-on-1, it's a pretty quick ramp to 3-on-3 and 5-on-5. And when that happens, invariably that's when the speculation will kick into overdrive. If I would say by early January, and it's weird because the team goes on the road end of December. So I assume he'll go with them. And, so there maybe not be a huge ramp up at that point. But I think once they come back in early January, I think we'll start to see him kick into the next gear. And we'll see where that leads. I keep telling people, people balk when I say, I think he'll be playing by February, but that's 2 months away. I know. And it just, for me, the timeline seems to line up. I always thought it was going to be March. If you rewind the clips, I definitely was thinking his birthday, early March. And I just think he's ahead of whatever expectation he set. And I think that date keeps creeping up a little bit. And look, it might creep back. It might be like you start doing 5-on-5 work and he's sorer than he thinks or whatever. But the one thing is, people still want to fight me on the fact of should he even play? And first off, you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor.
Talk to him. You are not a doctor.
But I do know he's not working out to wait till 2026, October 2026 to play his first game.
Did you see the famous doctor on X retweet him and say hey, just to let you guys know, he's going to be playing soon?
Yes!
That is a real doctor.
I mean, there's multiple Twitter doctors, so they could be any one of them.
Yeah.
But, the guy, I believe, the Martin O'Malley who did the surgery, I hope I get their name right, I believe he published something right around the start of the season about the new procedures they're using and the expected return to athletic activity. Now it's different. Athletic activity versus NBA players' athletic activity, they're completely different. But essentially, it's said that he should be in position after, let's say, 6 months. We're seeing, there's someone who, and I wish I should start writing down these names. There's a guy on the Miami Heat, Drew Smith, who came back after, I think, 9 months or 10 months. He's been playing this season. He tore it, I think, last December. And so he was essentially 10 months till October. And he doesn't play a lot of minutes, but he's actually playing pretty well for them. And Cam Akers came back in the NFL after 6 months. Another player, a safety in the NFL, I think he tore it the day after.
Cam Akers?
No, well, so there's someone that's not saying, I wish I could give
No,
credit.
but same.
Cam Akers did it in, I believe it was 3 years ago.
It was after the Rams? Yeah.
And then came back, I think, one of their Super Bowl seasons maybe, and tried to play and was not very good in the playoffs. But then was better the next year.
I think it was with the Rams, yeah.
So we'll see. My bottom line is I have no expectation. Once Tatum comes back, I think it'll help the team. It's Jayson Tatum. I'm not expecting him to be all NBA Tatum, but I just think on nights like this, when we're oh man, this game sucks. Why can't they? Why couldn't they find a way to steady the ship? Well, that gets a lot easier when Jayson Tatum's back out there. So
am I nuts to feel some type of way about how Jayson is going to look with this new version of Jalen?
Am
I weird for thinking that?
You should be excited.
In a perfect world, I think, and I do think this. I actually do think this. I think that, and I think Eddie House said this, but it is brutal that Jayson Tatum went through what he went through and had the injury that he did. At the same time, there's always a blessing in it all, I like to find. And the blessing within this is that Jalen has been able to elevate himself to that leadership role that is translating on the court and off. So when JT comes back, is JB going to be the JB that we see now in the
it won't be 30 points a night. I mean, there'll be nights where they both go for 30, but it's going to take stress off both of them.
Maybe it'll help Jayson, honestly. He's not going to
it's going to help Jayson ease back in if Jalen is playing like this. It's going to help that you can take Jayson off the court and put Jordan Walsh out there and get some crazy energy, and that that this team is much further along in the transitional phase than I think most, and which is why expectations have changed. So I think it's all good. I know the early edition will be a hot mess with we're gonna have Jayson Tatum's return going to throw off the vibes of the and I get it. It's fair to wonder. Sometimes you're flowing, but there's no world in which adding a Jayson Tatum doesn't make you better.
There's gonna be one bad night where one of the Jays explodes and the other doesn't. We're we knew this was going to happen. It wasn't going the two can't play well together. No, they'll be fine.
Just remember on December 12th or 11th or almost 12th,
11:53 p.m.
At as we recorded this, we're sitting here daydreaming about what it'll be like, and I know we'll overreact in the moment when the bad happens as they reintegrate and have to figure it out. But the beacon pulling you along throughout this season should be the Celtics are doing a lot of good things. They're in a much better spot than I thought they would be, even after with my lofty expectations. And Jayson Tatum might eventually come play basketball.
Yes, amen. This year.
Well, 2026, but
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
get your point.
Sorry.
This season.
There we go.
We're going to take a couple days off. Probably not. Maybe
you are?
No. Of course not.
I'm like, you.
There'll probably be another pod before the game. Before we're back in the game.
Can I also give one more silver lining? And you just mentioned this, guys. Let's just regroup here. The fact that we should expect that the Celtics should have beat the Bucks here tonight. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they are third in the East, well, now it may drop a little because of tonight. Whatever, fine. The fact that the Celtics are doing this well, and we had thought going into the season that we have these expectations that they should be riding a 6-game win streak. They were 10 out of their last 12 going into this. They should be 11 out of their next 13. Whatever. That is a good place to be for this team. And I'm not here to say, hey, kumbaya, all hail Celtics, but this is beating at least my expectations that I had going.
Oh
into
no,
the
season. I did the inflection. I did the So I feel the same way. And sometimes after a night like this in a terrible game, you need to step back and be like, hey, let's appreciate the good things that are happening. So the good things that are happening is you guys are watching this, and so you can go subscribe, go check us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you after Monday's game against the Pistons, and hopefully we'll be cheerier.